Hi everybody, this is Susan, your director from the McCracken County Public Library, here to give you another mini story time. And somebody else wants to say hi. Hi, Toonses! Okay, that's all we'll get from Toonses today. That's fine. So today's story involves animals, and you can see two of the animals in the story on my bookshelf. Can you see them up there? What do you see? Do you see a penguin? And do you see an owl? Right, so they're both birds. But do you see a penguin and an owl together in nature? No, you don't, do you? Because an owl lives in a tree, right, in the woods. And a penguin lives in places like the South Pole, where it's cold and icy. But where might you find a penguin and an owl together? The zoo, right? So today we're reading a book about a zookeeper and what happens when he has to take a sick day. This is A Sick Day for Amos McGee, and it is written by Philip Steed and illustrated by Aaron Steed. And we want to thank our friends at Roaring Brook Press for allowing us to read it today. And this is one of my very favorites. This is my personal copy that I have here on my bookshelf. And a few years ago, it won the Caldecott Award for the Best Picture Book of the Year. So I really love it, and I hope you do too. Let's get started. Amos McGee was an early riser. Every morning when the alarm clock clanged, he swung his legs out of bed and swapped his pajamas for a fresh pressed uniform. He would wind his watch and set a pot of water to boil, saying to the sugar bowl, "A spoonful for my oatmeal and 2 for my teacup." Belly full and ready for the workday, he would amble out the door. Every day, Amos waited for the number 5 bus. "Next stop, City Zoo," the bus driver would call. "6 a.m., right on time," he'd reply. Amos had a lot to do at the zoo, but he always made time to visit his good friends. He would play chess with the elephant, who always thought and thought before making a move. He would run races with the tortoise, who never ever lost. He would sit quietly with the penguin, right there, who was very shy. He would lend a handkerchief to the rhinoceros, who always had a runny nose. And at sunset, he would read stories to the owl, who was afraid of the dark. One day, Amos awoke with the sniffles and the sneezes, achoo, achoo, and the chills. He swung his achy legs out of bed, curled them back up again, and said, "Ugh, I don't think I'm going to be going to work today." And that's good, right? Because if you're sick, you should stay home. But meanwhile, at the zoo, the animals waited for their friend. The elephant arranged his pawns and polished his castles for his chess game. The tortoise stretched his legs and limbered up. The penguin sat patiently, all by himself. The rhinoceros worried that his allergies were worsening. The owl perched atop a tall stack of storybooks, scratching his head with concern. Where was Amos? They wondered. Later that day, what do you think the animals are up to? Oh my goodness, look at this. They all got on that bus. Where do you think they are going? Hooray, my good friends are here. They went to visit Amos to cheer up their friend. The elephant prepared a game of chess. Amos thought and thought before making a move. "I'm too tired to run races today," said Amos to the tortoise. "Let's play hide and seek instead." So the tortoise hid in his shell, and Amos hid beneath the covers. Amos yawned. I could use a nap. The penguin sat quietly, keeping Amos's feet warm. And do you know what? Toons is the cat. He does that to me sometimes. He'll keep my feet warm. Achoo! Amos woke with a sneeze. The rhinoceros was ready with a handkerchief. I'm beginning to feel much better, thank you, said Amos to his friends. He swung his legs out of bed. Perhaps we'll share a pot of tea. Amos wound his alarm clock. It's getting late, he said. After all, we have a morning bus to catch. So Amos said good night to the elephant, and good night to the tortoise, and good night to the penguin, and good night to the rhinoceros, and good night to the owl, who, knowing that Amos was afraid of the dark, read a story aloud before turning off the light. And it looks like they all got a good night's sleep and will feel better in the morning. And that is a sick day for Amos McGee. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, and bye from Toonsis too.